Okay, let's review the answers to quiz 7 on gender-based violence. Part 1, true or false. Number 1, harming the pets of a battered woman does not serve as ground for Bowsy complaint. This is false. According to the law, this may serve as a ground for a case under 9262. Number 2, there are 5 forms of violence. This is false. There are 4: physical, sexual, psychological, emotional, and socio-economic violence. Number 3, under the present law, rape is considered to be a public crime. This is true. Before, it was a personal crime wherein only the rape victim is allowed by law to file a case. But now, rape is considered a public crime, and anybody in behalf of the victim qualified under the law to file a case is allowed. Number 4, in the Philippines, a gender-based violence case may not prosper because the court does not give weight to the testimony of female complainants if there is no witness to the offense committed. This is false. On the contrary, the courts give credence to the testimony of the victim because um, under Philippine jurisprudence, this is allowed by law. That even though there is no witness and only in the Philippines, a gender-based violence case may not prosper because the law does not give way to the testimony of a female complainant. There is no witness to the offense committed. This is false because gender-based violence case may prosper even if there is only the victim who may testify as to the crime committed if there are other evidences presented to the court. Of course, usually gender-based violence against women are not committed in public. This is a type of crime that is, of course, committed usually without any witness. Okay, so the court gives weight to the testimony of the complainant, given if there are other evidences that the case or the complaint may prosper. Number 5, the anti-domestic violence law complies to the equal protection provision because it does provide the same protection to battered husbands. This is false in the sense that, and the second part of the sentence that says that it provides the same protection to battered husband. The law RA 9262 provides protection only to women who are battered and including their children. But it doesn't mean that it it is not compliant to the equal protection of the law provision because it has been debated and it has been agreed that domestic violence is a women's issue because there are more women who are victims than men. Number 6, gender-based violence is any act of gender-based violence that results or likely to result in physical, sexual, psychological harm. This is false because of the word pleasure. So we will correct. And it does provide for 3 types of protection orders: barangay protection order, temporary protection order, and the permanent protection order. Number 8, gender-based violence is the most widespread crime all over the world, that it is known as the shadow pandemic. During the time of the COVID pandemic, there were more gender-based violence crime committed because of the lockdowns. And so the statement is true. According to the United Nations, one out of three women, so you have to remember this figure, that one out of three women suffer from gender-based violence in their lifetime. And this is true. In the university, we have every February we have the 1 billion rising campaign, which supports awareness on these statistics that women are really suffering from gender-based violence. And this is a very appalling statistic or number. Number 10, alcoholic intoxication is one of the most common cause of domestic violence. This is true. In a study, it was proven that many of the victims of domestic violence is a result of drunkenness of the spouse. Number 11, there is no crime where there is no law. The person who raped a banana tree cannot be imprisoned. This is true. This is a very general principle of law, that if there is no law penalizing a certain act, there will be no crime and no person will be penalized. Number 12, a woman who was raped in the banana plantation cannot file a case because there was no witness. This is false. The answer has already been explained above. Number 13, in criminal cases, the defendant party may file two cases, one criminal and the other for civil damages. The criminal case is to answer for the prohibition of the mandate of the penal law, while the civil damages to answer the liability committed against the private victim. Number 14, the obligation of the government is to provide. To provide is accomplished by special criminal law. This is false because of the word provide. If we consider criminal law, it is always to protect. The purpose of criminal law is to protect the rights of people by providing penalty and limiting the enjoyment of rights because of violation of certain prohibited acts. Number 15, gender-based violence as the shadow pandemic means that the deep effect of gender-based violence is felt mostly among many LGBT members. This is false. The concept of the shadow pandemic means the widespread nature of the crime. Number 16, the act of transporting a person to a place with the use of fraud or a purpose that is against their will is penalized under the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act. This is true. Number 17, the Pemberton case pertains to the appeal that fixed the Supreme Court's stance on protecting the interest of the LGBT. In the case of Pemberton versus the Lima, the Supreme Court denied the petitioner the chance to have the case reviewed under a petition for certiorari. 2008, number 18, majority of the victims of gender-based violence are minors. This is true. Number 19, gender-based violence against women and girls is likely to is linked to many poor health outcomes. This is true. In People versus Senosa, the government acquitted the accused. This is false. Hinosa was not acquitted but judged guilty of the crime of parricide, but she was given mitigating circumstances, so her penalty was reduced because the court considered battered woman syndrome as a mitigating circumstance. We will now proceed to multiple choice. Number 1, the answer is RA. The answer is 9208. RA 9262 is the Anti-Domestic Violence Law, or the Violence Against Women and Their Children Act. So the correct answer here is RA 9208. So Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act, RA 9208. Number 2, which of the following is not considered uh, violence against LGBT. So all of these are considered violence against LGBT. So the answer is letter E, A, B, and C. Number 3, in countries which criminalize homosexuality, which of the following are practiced? The answer is all of the above. So public stoning, so there are countries that really stone LGBT, and even without direct evidence or without due process, they are stoned or they are penalized publicly. This is true in Muslim countries. Letter B, prohibition of cross-dressing, prohibition of display of affection between LGBT members, and the arrest of LGBT members. All of these are practiced and may be practiced in those countries which criminalize homosexuality, which is not an example of violence against homosexuals. So the answer here is letter A, acceptance of cross-dressing. Number 5, which of the following may not lessen gender-based violence? May lessen. Which of the following may lessen gender-based violence? The answer is all of the above. So education, organizing, reporting, and um, having hotlines for the crimes. Number 6, all of the at the lowest level of government, a victim of domestic violence may be issued a protection order that has a 15-day effectivity but renewable upon application. The name of the protection order is Barangay Protection Order. Number 7, the protection order issued by the court upon resolution of a domestic violence case. Um, what we mean by resolution is that the court has already issued its final ruling, and so the protection order is known as permanent protection order. Number 8, rape is committed through an authorized A, oral penetration, B, penetration of the anal orifice, penetration of the vagina. The answer is letters A, B, and C. So the answer is letter E. Which of the following is a gender-based violence case? The correct answer here is all of the above. So the correct answer is all of the above, which is a protection order that expires in 30 days unless extended. So while the case is pending or while the court is ruling on the domestic violence case, the court may issue a temporary protection order. It has the effect of protecting the women from the different forms of um, gender-based violence committed against her. So this is a salient character of the law. Punishes or provides protection. It has already in effect even prior to the resolution of the court case. Usually, if there is a crime committed, the accused may be penalized only upon proof of guilt with beyond reasonable doubt. But in the case of domestic violence cases, the law already has power to protect the woman even prior to the resolution of the case. Which of the following constitute sexual assault? So all of these are sexual assault. So the answer is letter E. Number 12, Safe Spaces Act is RA 11313. So remember that. RA 11313 or the expanded anti-sexual harassment law. Number 13, which of the following is considered violence against men? So all of those are violence against men. So the answer is letter E. Number 14, it is documented that in many countries which criminalize homosexuality, the tradition of patriarchy is the cause. Number 15, which is not an example of violence against homosexual, which is not an example of violence against, which is not an example of violence against homosexuals. So the answer is letter E, none of the above, because all of these are gender-based violence committed against homosexuals. Number 16, which of the following may not address gender-based violence? This is a recurring question, and so the answer is none of the above, because all of those may mitigate the commission of gender-based violence. Number 17, which is a protection order. So this has been asked above. So the answer is temporary protection order. What is the difference between the temporary protection order and the permanent protection order? They have the same uh, number of days of expiration, but uh, no, what is the similarity between temporary and permanent protection order? That they may provide the same protection to the battered woman, but permanent protection order is issued upon the final ruling of the court, while temporary protection order, since it is issued while the case is pending, it may be renewed. It is not permanent, but it may be renewed after 30 days. So ang lifespan nito is 30 days, renewable. Number 18, the protection order issued by the court upon resolution. So that is letter B. Number 19, which of the following may provide the protection? Which of the following may be provided in a protection order? So the answer is all of the above. Like letter A, provision of child support. Letter B, prohibition of the erring spouse from entering the family dwelling. Letter C, prohibition of the erring spouse from harming the battered woman and her children. And prohibition of the erring spouse from harming the family pets. All of these are may be provided in a protection order according to RA 9262. Number 20, which of the following is not a gender-based violence case? So harming all members of a religious cult, physical assault of government officials, graft and corruption. How about harming all children in the school? So all of these are not gender-based. Like if it's all children, so it does not distinguish whether the children are girls or LGBT members. So if there is no such distinction as to the gender of the victims, this is not a gender-based violence case. So the answer here is all of the above. So that ends our review on gender-based violence. So good luck on your final exam.